What up, my freaks? Ruinous Insight here, welcoming you to part 1 of a brand new modded Total Warhammer 2 Let's Play. The eagerly awaited Sundering update has dropped for SFO Grimhammer II, so we are going High Elves versus Dark Elves. The subject of the High Elf playthrough, of course by popular vote, is Prince Imrik, the Lord of Dragons, leading the Knights of Caledor faction. Imrik won the community vote by a landslide. I think he got 45% or something like that of all the votes, as compared to all the other High Elves, which is pretty damn good. I assume because he has the hardest start of all the High Elves, so I think that'll make for a pretty great Let's Play. Anyway, those of you who have watched my previous Let's Plays know that I do love SFO, and so I never actually played Imrik in vanilla in order to experience his campaign straight through the Sundering update. Anyway, before we get started, there will of course be some very brief housekeeping things about scheduling and voting and whatever, but as always, timestamps are going to be in the comments below if you want to skip the chatter. First, the scheduling. I will be running Imrik alongside Rakarth, who will be the Dark Elf counterpart to the Sundering update. I actually think they'll work quite well because we have dragons on the one side and then monsters on the other, right? I think that's pretty good head-to-head. Now, those of familiar with this channel will also know that I don't determine scheduling, and unfortunately I do have to keep mentioning this because people do keep asking, and I never know the answer. I'm sorry, guys. I more or less strictly post stuff on a schedule determined solely by the YouTube algorithm, or specifically what analytics tells me to post based on the YouTube algorithm. Anyway, what that means is pretty simply your likes and comments function like votes, manipulate the algorithm into favoring certain Let's Plays over others, as well as manipulate the length of the episodes as well. Long story short, if you like this Let's Play, if you like Total Warhammer content in general, and want it posted often, don't forget to drop down likes and comments. It's annoying, but we all know how YouTube works. And that's about it for me. I just got to give a huge shout out to Venris and the SFO team for bringing us the definitive Total Warhammer experience, and also, of course, a huge shout out to you guys for all the support. Most of you know that YouTube isn't my job, just something I like to do for fun, so all the comments and tips and discussions, keeping it fun, are what keep the channel alive. Now that's enough of that. Time for the BURNINATION Nation to be born. Let's see what we're working with here. So, dragon taming. Seek out the secrets of mighty dragons or defeat them for their allegiance, unlocking Blood of Caledor. So it looks like a mechanic for Prince Imrik to gather sort of a currency and then spend it on stuff, okay? Or get the dragons, and I assume dragons will join you. Suitable climate mountain makes sense considering his start in the Plain of Bones near the Dragon Isles. What else do we have here? Greater Invocation of Wall, additional bonuses for dragon units, fair enough. Invocation of Eldrazur improves and grants experience to dragon princes, lords, and heroes. Wait, grants experience? Huh, that's pretty interesting. Okay, fair enough. So this guy has two different invocations or rituals. All right. Recruitment turn -1 for dragon princes and dragons. Yes, please. I don't want to sit there for ages waiting to recruit, and post-battle loot +25, so lots of extra money for just fighting battles. Maybe we'll stack that, actually. I'll have to think about that. Let's see. Otherwise, Lord effects, 20% campaign movement range, always lovely. I like to spam movement range wherever possible. We've got Draconic Resilience, immune to mountain and desert attrition. All right, so we can basically move freely anywhere we want in this area. Upkeep reduction for dragons, dragon princes makes sense, and ambush defense chance, considering we're starting near a bunch of Skaven, makes sense as well. I'm gonna go very hard with the campaign and battle. Chaos Invasion obviously on, and otherwise we're gonna start with a dragon prince unit, a sun dragon, and looks like white lines of trace. All right, looks pretty interesting. Nothing more to say about that. Let us begin. With the skies above Caledor no longer ringing to the roars of dragons, Prince Imrik searches the world for the last of the mighty drakes not still suppressed by slumber. As the forces of destruction continue to thrive outside Ulthuan's borders, his efforts are needed now more than ever. The very fate of the world tied to the Asur, whether they like it or not. Imrik's pride is also at stake, for the Dragon Prince yearns to restore his realm's eminence among the High Elves.
Behold, Prince Imrik. You have arrived at the Plain of Bones, ancient graveyard of the dragons, to honor their dead and seek the wisdom of those still roaming the world. Few relics are left, for dark magic once took hold of this place. Furthermore, the dwarfs have committed sacrilege in seeking the dragon's treasures, wantonly despoiling their remains. You must punish their gold lust and purge them from their mountain holds. But be on your guard. Other nearby Dawi will not take this lightly and may seek vengeance. There is dark, ancient power to be found in the south. Though you may think twice before meddling here, it may be necessary. For in the distant ocean, a formidable black ark of the Druki has been spotted. Its business unknown. Noble dragon prince, these are wild and untamed lands, infested by greedy Dawi, twisted greenskins, and other more secretive vermin. Come what may, the Knights of Caledor must prevail.
And other more secretive vermin, are you also pretending the Skaven don't exist? I thought that was just an Empire thing. Alrighty, so here we go. Prince Imrik. I never played him when he came out. I was waiting for SFO, so I have no clue as to how he functions. So this is going to be pretty interesting for me, and hopefully that'll be pretty interesting for you guys as well, as inevitably it'll mean I make mistakes. I do obviously appreciate any tips, and there will be the new stuff that SFO added to him as well with this Sundering update. I'm pretty darn excited. Alright, so what do we have here? Number of turns until the next dragon encounter. We got the influence standard for the High Elves. Let's read about how the Knights of Caledor work, shall we? I mean, influence and espionage and intrigue at the court. This is basic high elf fare, but let's see, dragon taming. Most dragons of the world are overcome by slumber, but a small number still roam the land that the Knights of Caledor can call upon in this time of need. You will periodically encounter such dragons from whom you can draw knowledge and power, or otherwise tame them in battle to gain their strength. Defeating the greatest and most ancient of them will see them join your cause. Wasn't that swell? Let's see, so yeah, we got influence from various things, maybe spent on court intrigues and recruiting more powerful lords and heroes. Yes, I remember that. I don't particularly like the way that early game lords and heroes are gated by the influence, but hey, what can you do? Now let's see, High Elves can spend influence on intrigues at the court. Alright, so that's to buff up your relations with various factions or worsen them otherwise between other factions, and then espionage through trade. Okay, standard High Elf stuff. Alright, occupy, raise, or sack 4 different settlements. Let's see, Darkhold. What are we gonna do? You are going to be a Dawi stronghold, and I guess we're gonna start off, we'll make a cinematic battle to start right off the bat, I think. I just want to see what this is. We got Vampiric Corruption +1, Tower of the Bloody Tooth. Lots of free income, construction, weapon strength, and yeah, just basically lots of income. I gotta remember all of the different high elf buildings, because I no longer really remember what any of them do. Well, I guess we gotta upgrade this tower right away, and I mean, do we upgrade this? It's free money. Oh, it's a little bit expensive, though.
Dragon princes.
Well, regardless, let's see, we have a Fire Mage. Makes sense. Fire Mage with Imrik. Yeah, you're gonna stay there. And in fact, let's see what Imrik has in terms of his special abilities. We got free influence, unlocks a noble recruitment in all provinces and hero capacity. Got research armor for Lord's army. Fire resistance makes sense. Let's see, we got astride the battlefield. Buffs for Cav, so that's Dragon Princes, go figure. We got Dragon Prince buffs as well as dragon units. Let's see, Ashen Fields. Enemies get weakness to fire and such. Dedicated to Vol. Leadership and upkeep for Dragon Princes. Flammable contact effect for Imrik himself, as well as dragon packages, bombardment spells, basically the piercing bolts of burning. Other than that, pretty standard stuff. Well, Lord of Dragons is different. +5 melee attack, 10% speed, 5 physical resistance. I take it doesn't get replaced by heroic killing blow. So yeah, other than that, basic stuff. Not really too much interesting stuff in Imrik's tree, but I'll be excited to check out all of his units. Anyway, let's get our first cinematic battle going. It'll be a basic one, but Imrik should enjoy destroying the Dawi. Oh, we start with the Starlands. Swell. Alright, here we go. Obviously, this is going to be pretty easy, but I feel we should do it cinematically nonetheless, as it is the first battle. Alrighty, here we go. A debut battle for Imrik and the Knights of Caledor. A pretty darn simple setup, and we have a pretty darn major advantage because we have the dragon, but even more importantly, the dragon princes. This really reminds me of the first battle that you fight as Karl Franz, where you have your basic army and then your Reichsguard unit. The single unit of elite cav against the basic army means you've basically won. The rest of our army could ironically basically just be nothing but spears and then the dragon princes, and we'd still win just off the back of that one unit. Now, we haven't actually seen our units yet. I want to see how I like the red and green. Not bad. That's not bad at all. This banner doesn't work as well, I guess, but still. I wish that it would change with the color of the individual faction, but that would probably be too much work, and I don't know how that would be programmed anyway. I still like the banner mod. Now let's take a look at Imrik himself. Just going to keep it slowed down. He is going to wait here. He is going to charge in with his lance and try to kill the enemy lord as soon as possible. He should probably be leading the dragon princes, but they're going to go alongside here, and let's see what they look like in this color scheme. Oh, I like that. Yeah, I like the dark green. This really works. Alrighty, so yeah, these guys obviously going to go behind and flank the enemy army. Pretty simple. We are going to start by targeting the enemy quarrelers a little bit, but otherwise we're going to retarget soon, just because we're going to have the Sun Dragon and the Dragon Princess take care of them for us. In the meantime, the enemy army is pretty basic. They have 2 units of miners over here, which will get wrecked by our range. They have what looks like a Dwarf Warrior unit, and wait, is that a Longbeard? Yeah, it's a Longbeard unit. Longbeard unit, we have Dwarf Warriors with great axes here. Looks like we're starting to target them now. They're getting wrecked by these basic archers. We have another, is this another unit of Longbeards? No, it's a Dwarf Warrior unit, okay. There's the other unit of Longbeards, there we go. Okay, so they have a decent number of Longbeards, but we do have White Lions that are about to attack them from the side. For some reason, the AI isn't doing such a great job at reacting. We are also getting our Sun Dragon breathing in on one of the enemy units. It's the Great Weapon units. I want to destroy this unit before it can do anything, basically, simply because it has no real defenses. Maybe I should have just continued to target it with our High Elven archers while had the Dragon breathe on a unit like the Dwarf Warrior, something with shields that takes a longer time to kill. But I like the fact that this unit is basically insta-killed. Now over here, in the meantime, we have our Dragon Princess getting the charge in, going Dwarf Bowling. Oh, somebody just lost a head there. Dwarf Bowling for the Dragon Princess, a great time. And just poking them with their lances, as they like to do. I only saw one animation where one of them lost their head. Interesting. But yeah, obviously the Quarrelers stand no kind of chance here. In the meantime, Imrik, you should be fighting the enemy, a Lord over here, not doing much damage despite the fact that you got a charge off. He used Patriarch, which gives him 10 damage resistance, but no melee defense. I feel like Imrik should still be hurting him, but I'm not really having a great time getting those hits, and another hit and another failure, unfortunately. Now, the AI is actually, oh, I didn't mean to speed it up, moving all of its miners, both sets of units, to try to counter our Dragon Princess over here. Not too bad of a choice for the AI, considering the miners are one of the cheapest armor-piercing units. So this is a good choice. We are actually going to move our Dragon Princess out of this, as well as Imrik, to the other unit of Quarrelers, and get away from these ones, while our archers take care of the miners, who obviously have no armor and no real defense against all those arrowheads coming in. So I think this is pretty decent. Once again, our mobile units really telling or showing off how the immobile dwarf army stands no chance against them. This unit looks like it's just about done. That was the one that got breathed on and focused by the archers. Over here, let's check out the White Lions versus the Longbeards. Pretty interesting matchup. And it looks like the White Lions are winning. They do appear to have a slight elevation advantage, plus they did seem to attack the enemy units from the side instead of head on, so I think they got all the advantages here. Oh, I like how the banner carrier is still poking him with the halberd there. Just standing there poking him. Are white lions even allowed to not use their axes? Oh well, keep doing that. Alrighty, so on top of that, we're getting help here with some of the archers shooting these longbeards in the back. Looks like they're going to be dead. This miner unit got deleted by the archers, and oh, it looks like this one just decided to target these longbeards over here. That's actually not what we want, because it would probably hurt our own more than it would hurt the longbeards here, so I do retarget it in a second. We also have our mage here, not fighting in melee, but providing the leadership bonus to all these spearmen, because they are fairly quick to rout. Do have to support them. Over here, we have the dwarf warriors. They're getting fairly wrecked. I mean, we did get a charge in with the dragon here, who looks like a doggo when he runs around on the ground, before charging the enemy Thane with both the dragon and Imrik, just to try to make this frickin' thing go away. He's really not taking many hits. I mean, look at this. I'd actually be curious to find out what the melee defense is on the basic Thane with no upgrades. Because both the dragon and Imrik hitting him, and he just resists everything. Oh, and now it looks like the miners are coming back in to try to deal with these guys. Fortunately, since the dragon princes are not here, we are able to shoot them all to death with our archers. Everybody else looks like they are stopped by our melee units. The dwarf warriors are fighting relatively evenly with the spearmen over here, but now that these longbeards have been destroyed and are now being chased off by the dragon princes, who went into support of the white lions, the white lions can bring all that armor pierce to bear and hit these guys in the back to make sure that they rout. All the miners will be gone momentarily, as they can't take any arrow hits, and now we are just going to move Imrik and the dragon away so that these guys stop chasing him before retargeting this Thane. There we go. And this battle should be just about over. And this is an appropriate sight. Imrik running in, dragons following him along. Pretty damn good. Alrighty, white lions starting to move in. Gonna hit that dwarf warrior unit in the back. We have the dragon princes also moving in. They're gonna help destroy this Thane. All together, maybe we'll finally be able to kill the damn guy. Come on, man. We gotta weave your beard into something useful. Can't just keep it attached to a dowie. Alright, and it looks like as soon as the dragon princes moved in, the Thane started dropping a lot more than he was when he was fighting the dragon and and Imrik. Otherwise, the white lions have cleared up the dwarf warriors really quickly, charging them at the back and causing them to rout, and, bringing all that damage in that the spearmen were lacking. And last but not least, these longbeards rout as well with the help of the two spearmen, hitting them from both the back and the front, and the mage. The Thane will drop, and the chain rout is here, and there it is, our first battle. An easy one, but I think a pretty fun one, as I generally like to enjoy the first battles in campaigns as much as I possibly can, because when battles get bigger, they tend to be a lot more one-sided. I mean, this was still pretty one-sided, but it was still long enough for us to enjoy some of the units and the animations. Anyway, let's go. Alrighty, easy little first battle, easy little first win. Obviously, the MVP's got to go to those dragon princes, because after all, they are our only cav units, so that's not surprising at all, and especially against the dowie. The damn resistance on that Thane, though, with regards to how long it took him to draw, but still. Alrighty, so that's it for the Darkhold. We will occupy it, obviously, as it is in our starting territory. We got a Beard Weaver. Someone has to ensure that the Cloak of Beards is maintained, lest its power over Dwarfen runes slacken. Yes, indeed. Alright, weapon strength plus 5% when fighting against dwarfs, all units, and army. Alright, we're going to be killing a lot of dwarves. And some of you have mentioned that I probably dislike starting in this area in previous campaigns, and you're completely right. I hate starting in this area. I don't hate it as much as up here, starting in Nagaron, because there's so damn many factions starting over here. It's really annoying to basically go through the same thing. But yeah, way too many factions start in this area as well. And The problem with that as well is both areas are in corners. There's really not too much difference in what you have to do with each individual faction. So the problem there is it's a little bit boring in that it's very similar to other playthroughs with other factions. Whereas, for example, if you start as the Empire, you got various ways in which you can approach a situation. Like the first time I played the Empire, I think I conquered all of Bretonnia first. Other times I went for Sylvania. There's also going north and fighting Norsca. There's choices. There's even infighting amongst the Empire depending on what happens in that situation. But with these places, it's always basically the same thing. But anyway. Imrik's start is supposed to be pretty hard, so I'm pretty interested in seeing how this works out. Let's get, map-wide +20 melee attack and fear buff, Dragonhorn, we will take it. As well as Root Marcher, obviously we'll go for Sword Player afterwards. Now you, Darkhold, you have a special building for us. High Elves, yes, you do, and we have it immediately. We can get Dragon Princes pretty early out of this. Okay, so we got to get this up to rank the tier 3 building immediately. What does this also give us? Public order, more upkeep for armies faction-wide. Okay, easy little start out of that. I guess we got to keep this here because we want to be able to build the basic troops in Lothern Seaguard and stuff. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's take the Ashridge Mountains next, and I guess afterwards we'll have to decide where we proceed. Do we go north? Do we head for the dwarfs immediately? Do we take the stuff in Nobler Country and kill Snitch? Do we go south and take out Itza as well as Malice? I mean, in theory, we probably do want the Dragon Isles just to make sure that Malice doesn't get strong down there. I'd prefer to not necessarily attack Itza, but, well, maybe if Malice kills them for us. It really depends, though. Generally, I find that the Lizardmen will outplay the Dark Elves in the early battles because they do have access to Saurus, but I guess we'll see. And then these... What the hell are you? Red Cloud, you're Gobos, or Orcs. Okay. Okay, and we got Snitch up there, although he'll probably take over your territories. Well, I guess we gotta kill these guys first, since the game basically mandates that we do so. Let's get our Fire Mage upgrade. What do you have, by the way? Research rate, oh wow, your buff is terrible. Which makes me think we're going to switch you into a follower later on. Okay, but we'll start off with getting you some of the basic good stuff, like... I guess we'll start with Flaming Sword of Ruin, I guess. And then move on to Kindle Flame and Cascading Fire Cloak. Let's also check out what we have in terms of research. Trade, good advancements. Yeah, I remember all these from the High Elf stuff. Got a bunch of military advancements. Here we go. The interesting stuff. Wait, I also don't remember this one. Oathwand's Glory. Influence Fund. Oh, maybe I do remember this one. Or maybe I don't. I'm not sure. Melee defense +10 versus Princes. Anything that'll buff up our... No, it looks like a lot of hero buffs. A lot of hero buffs, mages. Yeah, this is lots of hero buffs. Okay, this is what we're looking at. Lord of the Dragons is the final tech. Gives all characters expert charge defense. All units get charge bonus and weapon strength. Swell. +5 public order everywhere. That's not too bad either. Everybody hates us for getting this, though. Why would the Empire hate us? I mean, that kind of doesn't make too much sense, but sure. The world is ours to rule as we wish. Okay, I guess these guys are pretty belligerent. Alright, Banners of Caledor. We need... Oh, we can get one of these immediately. What's the special resource? Blood of Caledor. As Imrik seeks blessings from the venerable dragons, his expedition gains renown and support from Ulthwan, gained from dragon traits that Imrik gets from defeating legendary dragons and used on technologies. Okay, so what do we have here? Upkeep for all units' own armies when in enemy territory. That's pretty decent. Okay. Magic item drop chance and early research. Arrogant isolation, more upkeep reduction, but reduction in income from trade as well. Plus we get a free Beard Weaver out of it. Let's see, armor for dragon units. Well, we'll get that eventually. Ward save and charge for dragon princes, fair enough. Armor for all units in army, but reduction to campaign movement range. Immunity to attrition, but we're already immune to mountain attrition being Imrik. All armies campaign movement range, huh? Not bad. Post-battle loot, perfect vigor, free banner of swiftness. Nice to put on Imrik early on. I'm not seeing anything that I really want to get, like, right away. Fire resistance for all units. I guess we're going to try to get so much fire resistance that we're basically immune to our own fire mages and can calmly just stand in fire. Oh, decentralization, growth plus 20. The construction time does hurt a little bit, but early on, getting the decentralization probably seems like a good idea. In fact, judging by all this, that's probably what I'm going to pick. Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing early on. That and mobile farrier, but I think we can live without it, because Imrik has a natural bonus. I think with decentralization, we'll do this in a second, in a few turns. No, we probably should just do it right away. Yeah, you know what, do it right away. Screw it. Screw it. We'll deal with the rest later. I want the free 20 growth. Early snowballing. Then we can move on to some basic upgrades, mostly for our archers. Alrighty, and I guess that's our first turn done. Do we need to upgrade you? We're gonna have a massive amount of public order here anyway from all these buildings. So in theory, this doesn't really give us much. But I think we still keep it for now because we need to move and it gives us bonus campaign movement range. What do we got in terms of hero recruitment? Nothing, okay. I guess we're gonna end the turn now. Let's do it. Mount Greyhag, Ash Ridge Mountains, are there... Wait, 1, 2, 3... Oh, okay, all three of these belong to the enemy. But Mount Greyhag would be part of a different... a different province. What do we have here? Return of the Prince, influence plus 25, treasury 1500. You will gain the opportunity to confederate Caledor. Oh. Huh. Really? That's interesting. So it's sort of like Malice, where we can confederate Hagreath and fight in both places at the same time. I really like that. There's probably advantages to not doing so, but the thing is, I generally really like when you have two places at the same time. I think one of my favorite mods other than SFO was Legendary Confederations and the way it worked with Tomb Kings, because then you had battles here in the desert, you had battles with Khalida, and you had battles all the way up there at the same time. A lot of different enemy factions fighting at the same time. That was really fun. So I wouldn't mind fighting in two places at once. Let's read what this says, though. Let's see. Your journeys have taken you far from Caledor, and so your control over affairs in the Court of Dragons has waned. A faction of nobles, callow fools with little respect for Caledor's martial heritage, has inveigled their way into the halls of power. The fragmentary reports you receive from your homeland tell of a land fallen to dissolution and indolence, where nobles revel in luxuriant balls even while vicious pirates ravage the coast. Well, I'm sure Slaanesh is enjoying that. Such behavior might be fitting of an Avalornian, but Caledor is a land of warriors. This cannot be tolerated. You must find ways to contact and mobilize your allies at home before action can be taken. Alrighty, we got a free minstrel out of it. We got it. What? Do we get like 8 billion free minstrels out of it? Is that what it's implying? Why do we have to click that so many times? If we select you... No, we can't select a minstrel for you, so then I'm not sure. Alrighty, well, that's our first tech research, and now we don't have any more Blood of Caledor, so let's go for military advancements, and right away into archery. Melee defense for Lothran Seaguard, we don't have them yet. Yeah, by far the best upgrade here. Alrighty, let's proceed all the way to the Ash Ridge Mountains. Oh, you know what I probably should have done? I should have probably recruited some basic troops here. And let's see, we could build some High Elven Rangers. I guess we could use some dual sword infantry. Not that they're going to be all that great against the dwarfs, but... Also, what's your encamp stance? Let's see. Lilith's Blessing encamp is 50% to adopt. Ugh, alright. Let's go here. I'd like to keep healing. Or do we go to the edge of our territory and try to hit the Ash Ridge Mountains next turn? Maybe we'll be able to. You know what? Go to the edge then. A little bit less healing, but that's okay. Right here, then we will get 2 High Elven Rangers and 1 more High Elven Archer. We'll replace the High Elven Archers with better archers later. And there we go. Looks like another end turn to me. Yeah, we gotta get a lot more growth going if we want this ASAP. Gotta get those dragon princes up and running. Alright, so I'm interested to see why Imrik is supposed to have the most difficult start of the High Elves. Why? Is it because I guess the dwarves are a fairly tough opponent, and I guess we are sort of surrounded. Oh, I get it. It's because we can't trade. We won't have any trade access, so our economy is going to be screwed. I see. Okay. Because High Elf factions usually rely on trading with all their massive numbers of ports and their trade bonuses, and Imrik cannot. Interesting. Alright, well, Ashridge Mountains, you're going to be up next. Oh, looks like you're not going to be able to defend anything there, buddy. You know what? This one's kind of a pathetic fight. We're going to auto-resolve this just so we can keep moving. Occupy, please. And we got another Beard Weaver. You can't have too many Beard Weavers. Makes sense. Okay, hopefully these guys don't jump across and just retake Darkhold. That would be kind of annoying, because it's so hurt. Even if it does have the Dragon Princess and the Dragon defending it. Okay, what do we have here? Ooh, growth building. Yes, I was going to build one anyway. Alright, that works for me. Let's upgrade you guys. You're going to get your sword player. And then... So here's the thing. He's going to have a giant pile of dragons and dragon princes. What's the upgrade for dragon princes? Cavalry Master, no. Sky Master upgrades dragons. Wait, what? Illyrian Reavers and Silver Helms is Cav. Vanguard Master is... Oh, Vanguard Master has dragon princes. Pretty decent upgrades, actually. But the question is, do we do this right now? I guess we want to unlock Stand Your Ground, but maybe we make Imrik a good Lord Killer. He's already fairly buff, that's the thing. And we should be able to get his dragon fairly early on. Valor of Ages is kind of terrible, because it doesn't include dwarfs, so we should go Blade Master and Hard to Hit, I think, for now. He's going to upgrade fairly quickly anyway. Yeah, you know what, let's go for Blade Master. It took a while to kill that dwarf, so we might as well. What's your Armor Pierce? 310. Yeah, alright, let's try to book it towards Lord of Dragons, I guess, and then we'll start upgrading the Dragon Princes. We probably won't waste any points on upgrading the basic units, as there probably won't be too many of them in his army. Although, I'll think about maybe getting some Phoenix Guard or something. Do Phoenix Guard have natural fire resistance? Because if we do this as well, we could also get White Lions and Swords Masters. And, I mean, Imrik will have to have an elite army after all. Now you, Kindle Flame and Cascading Fire Cloak, gonna hold off on the Burning Head. And Commandment available, yes. Let's go for the growth right away, I think. Construction cost reduction, that's lovely. We can switch to that right before upgrading the Darkhold to level 2. You're gonna be upgraded in the next 2 turns. Or we could just wait and upgrade this instead. I say this is probably more important. But this is so expensive, we probably won't be able to make enough money to do that. Well, either way, we gotta go for growth first. Alrighty, and that's another end turn. Let's just check our rituals. What do we have here? Replenishment Untainted. We have a Dilemma will offer a powerful magical item. Oh, right, we gotta remember to use the Greater Invocations of Vol early on. Trying to get all those special items. Basically trying to use this as much as possible, because the cooldown is fairly long. And we need to get as many of them as possible. Okay. Anyway, let us proceed. I think we can live without building any more units. I assume that this guy's gonna go back in here. We'll have one more cinematic battle out of that, I think, if he recruits more units. If he doesn't, there's obviously not much we can do about it. What the hell are you doing? Oh, he was gonna try to jump over and take our territory. Well, there's no need to actually fight this. Pathetic. Let's execute the captives. I mean, we need beards to weave, guys. Come on. What are we supposed to do? Right, unlocked. Here we go. And only faction-wide caps is generally what I pick with SFO. Only army cap seems a little bit too restrictive. Wait, no, faction-wide and army cap seems a little bit too restrictive. And no cap seems kind of obnoxious, because then you just get armies with like 8 billion dragons. I mean, in theory, you could do that with this anyway, but then all your other armies can't have 8 billion dragons anyway. Only faction-wide caps recommended. I'll take it. And yet another Beard Weaver and an Ogre Blade. You don't need it because you have a Star Lance, but you did level up. Speed of Assyrian, free melee defense, I'll take it. And Blade Master. We'll have to decide if Imrik is going to get renowned and feared as well as Quartermaster. He is going to have a ton of expensive units, like really expensive units, even for High Elves. So it might be valuable. And he doesn't have a lot of other stuff to go through, so we definitely will have extra points. In the meantime, Fire Mage, Lilith's Blessing, and the Burning Head. There we go, into Invasion, or Evasion next. You. Start moving. Can you hit this in 2 turns? I think you can. Yeah, you can. Okay, we're good. Go, go, go. I take it you can't raid. And you know what I haven't checked? Let's see, what does this do? Melee defense? Okay, that doesn't really give us anything. I have not checked who else we're at war with. We have a non-aggression pact with Caledor. Makes sense if we're going to get offered a confederation. We're just at war with Clan Helheim right now. So after we're done with them, we will have to pick a direction. I take it there's Skaven here. Actually, wait. If we check Mount Greyhag, yeah, see, we have Skaven corruption. So there is, this is Skaven territory. So I guess we could move up, take Mount Silverspear and Crookback Mountain, and then move all the way down to Noblar Country and take out Snitch after that, before moving onwards to Karak Azul. I think that's the best way to do it. We'll keep an eye on what's going on over here. If Karak Azul doesn't declare on us, we'll go north, south to Noblar Country, and then all the way to take the Dragon Isles afterwards, and then onward to Karak Azul. Hopefully that works out. But otherwise, I think we're good for yet another turn. Not making a lot of cash, obviously, but what can you do? End it. I don't imagine there's going to be too much interesting stuff in the first turn here. And stability, growth, yes, I will certainly take that. Gotta love the free growth. We got 6 turns until we got our next dragon encounter. Mount Greyhag.
Prevail.
Alrighty, ooh, yes, okay, this one will be worth to fight cinematically. For those of you who have not watched my Let's Plays before, there will have to be a cut here before we fight this, because to comment over the first battle, I have to basically save it, go back to the main menu, load the replay, comment over that, then go back to this, and then do this battle. So that's what I'm going to have to do now, so here is the cut before we fight. Alrighty, there it is now. Let's see about what we're facing here. On the face of it, this looks very similar to the first battle we fought, but we have a Rune Lord here instead of the Thane that we fought last time, which should mean that you're not going to be as resistant to getting killed, I think. Or I guess we'll find out. Let's see how Imrik can handle you. Also, they have a lot more range firepower. A lot more. Last time they only had 2 regular Quarrelers. Now they also have 3 additional Quarrelers with great weapons and a Grudge Thrower that we'll have to take out really quickly before it makes mincemeat of all our Spearmen and stuff. But we also have our High Elven Rangers to hit the enemy melee units in the back. They also have no Longbeards this time, so a lot better range, a lot weaker melee line. Pretty interesting. Let's see how this works out for them, shall we? Another cinematic battle time. Alrighty, here we go, round 2, a very similar setup in terms of the way we're going to set our army up, but a very different type of battle in terms of who we're going to focus on. Now this time, since the enemy has so many range units, we are going to have to try to destroy them while more or less ignoring the melee units, especially since they no longer have units like the Miners, which are super vulnerable to that ranged fire. We will have to focus the range fire on the quarrelers with great weapons because they don't have shields unlike the regular quarrelers, as well as obviously the grudge throwers. And I believe SFO grudge throwers are considerably longer range than regular grudge throwers, so it's a little bit odd that they're not firing. They could have started firing at the very start of the battle instead of, well, you know, doing nothing as they are. But in the meantime, we have our first attack, which is our dragon, and it is... Oh, damn, I missed the breath. It did breathe on these quarrelers, and the main goal here is essentially to tie these units up. We have the White Lions as well as this unit of High Elven Rangers ready to move in. If all these units are distracted fighting the dragon, they're going to get charged by these units that are good at wrecking face, but not so good at holding the line. So I think this will work out pretty well if it does in fact work out. And there is ironically a couple of minor units here, but we won't be targeting them over the range units, as I said before. Now, over on this side, a similar thing is going on, but we're doing it with Imrik himself, just trying to tie up the quarrelers, as Imrik appears to be a little bit faster than the dragon princes. He moves in, distracts them, actually manages to kill a few, looks like it, and then the dragon princes come in to help clean up. Now, these are great weapons, so they can do quite a bit of damage to the dragon princes, but I think with the morale shock, plus with Imrik leading them, they're not going to have too good of a time. They should be dead fairly quickly, especially as they're not rear charging or flanking anybody. They're just straight up getting into a head-on fight. Now over here we have the grudge throwers. 3 full units of our archers are going to focus them. We're also going to start throwing fireballs at them with our mage. We got to get rid of these damn things so that they don't do too much damage. If we can see, here comes a fireball. Very nice. Pops one of the grudge throwers, so that really drastically decreases the amount of firepower it has. See this unit, the spearmen. I believe this was the unit that was getting hit by the grudge throwers, and it is the only unit that's heavily damaged. I would imagine that the reason these units are all knocked back is because of that, since everybody else is standing still, and I doubt that all that damage came out from the enemy quarrelers. Over here, enemy quarrelers, speaking of, are starting to rout already, so we are doing a pretty good job in terms of the exchange of range fire, at least while the melee lines have not collided. Over here, the first unit of quarrelers is now routing. We are going to chase it down with the dragon, who is going to make sure that it runs off the field, while the White Lions and the High Elven Rangers do pincer these units together, attacking them from both sides and destroy them fairly handily. Or at least that's the plan. They are going to get some reinforcements in the form of these great weapon dwarf warriors, but I think we'll be just fine. Oh, it looks like we also got a burning head in on one of the enemy quarreler units all the way in the back here, but it didn't really do a lot of damage. In fact, it did almost no damage. I believe it did clip this unit, but otherwise, unfortunately, while it did hit these guys, it didn't do a lot. I guess they have too much armor for this thing. And yeah, in SFO, this, well, I guess this is true in vanilla too. With the lack of armor piercing damage that the burning head deals, it's not really all that useful against the dwarves. Fortunately, it's not a huge deal. We have a lot of enemy units routing. Almost all of their quarrelers are running off the field now, except this one unit, I believe. You're about to run off the map. The dragon princes are chasing down this one. This grudge thrower unit is done having been killed by their rangers, or the archers rather. And oh no, there are 2 remaining. 3 accounted for, 2 remaining. This one's gonna get focused down by the range though, like so. Here comes the volleys. There we go. Not a lot of them dropping to that first volley though. In fact, I didn't see a single one drop. Are you dead? No, you're just getting rocked back a wee bit. All right, come on. Let's see. They are certainly taking damage. They're at below half HP, and now Imrik is in. He's not actually trying to chase these guys down, though, even though he is distracting them from firing. He's going after this Rune Lord. Let's see. In the meantime, the Dragon Princes should be done with chasing that other unit down, or at least they will be in a second, so they will be able to contribute to this. Over here, both the units of Miners have routed, having been attacked from both sides by the White Lions and the Elven Rangers, and just the Great Weapons remaining now. These guys trying to run away, but probably having a terrible day here. Oh, the White Lions carry a standard of trace, judging by the colors. Interesting, but makes sense. As opposed to our faction colors, but still, Would have been nice if it was half and half. Alright, so these guys are done. The dragon is back in. Just going to get a charge in onto those great weapons from the back to try to rout them. Ouch! That was the pretty damn nice attack. And there's that unit of Quarrelers that got focused down, and it is now dead. Looks like just the melee line really remaining here. This Dwarf Warrior unit has been trying to chase down our Dragon Princess this entire time, but he's not been very successful at it whatsoever. The Dragon Princess charging the enemy Rune Lord, and looks like this one sends him absolutely flying. In the meantime, this entire battle, this one unit of Dwarf Warriors has been facing off this one unit of High Elven Rangers, and we can see just how much better the High Elven Rangers are in combat against these guys. I mean, they are an anti-infantry unit, so it does make sense for them to be superior to a unit that is designed more to hold the line than to dish out damage like this. But it's still pretty interesting considering how damage-resistant the Dwarven units are, especially Dwarf Warriors and Quarrelers. For basic units, they are extremely high value. Or bang for your buck, I should say. Now, over here, this breath is absolutely critical. The enemy has had 2 full, or nearly full stacks of miners and Dwarf Warriors, but a breath going in on both of them. We even slightly move away our spearmen just so that the breath doesn't clip them, and this breath absolutely destroys these 2 units, and I believe they were the last ones holding the line. This one breath causes the chain rout, and the entire enemy army breaks with that. The enemy lord also breaks at the same time with Imrik and the Dragon Princess successfully killing him, and there we go. Just like that, the second battle is over, and this faction should be destroyed. That breath, though, great job to the dragon, and not hitting its own troops on top of it. This will probably be a little bit less scary when we have a lot more fire resistance, although, does dragon fire count as fire? Magical fire? I would assume that it does. But I guess different dragons could breathe different stuff, like, I suppose most other dragons would have just straight up magical damage. Like, I'm thinking of the Frostworms or like the Terrorgeists or something like that. That wouldn't be fire, would it? Although I've never actually looked into it. That's actually going to be something to look into as we go forward. But anyway, that's it for this. So let's see how everybody did in terms of damage. Alrighty, pretty even with the last battle we fought in that we got relatively few losses and I think did pretty well. Although the MVP, I think not the Dragon Princess this time so much as the dragon itself. It's got 2,300 or 23,000 damage rather, getting some very nice breaths in. That last breath ensured the chain rout at the end, plus it chased off some units, it distracted some units, although maybe we split the MVP with this one unit of High Elven Rangers. I don't know whether this one was the one that was fighting off to the side. In fact, both units of High Elven Rangers did quite well on both the flanks. The one that was wrecking the Dwarf Warriors quite well and not taking a lot of damage, and the other one was wrecking the miners as well as those great weapon Dwarf Warriors with the help of the White Lions. So all together, pretty darn well. The archers obviously did fine. They're archers. I mean, they always do fine. They're archers. Alrighty, so decisive victory, and I believe this faction should be done for good. Occupy. Here we go. Gradnar, Iron Will. Your will was not strong enough, buddy. And Clan Helheim destroyed. Alright, Invocation of Assyrian now unlocked, which gives us influence 10 per turn, public order +5, construction cost, diplomatic relations. We should probably use this fairly early on as well. 3,000 gold. I'm honestly kind of tempted to straight up use it right now. It seems like a very decent early thing to use, especially as it helps with the relationships with other factions. But anyway, in the meantime, let's get hard to hit on you. I mean, this guy's basic stats already make him really tough. So that's going to be pretty fun, and then we can go for Lord of Dragons right after that. I mean, Heroic Killing Blow is not super necessary. I think what we'll do is we'll go for Through Sword Player until we hit Blade Shield up to rank 2, and then we'll ignore the rest for now. We'll probably... I mean, obviously we'll want to start saving for getting all this stuff into Ashen Fields as fast as possible. Available after spending 2 points. and this was starting at rank 12. So let's say we start saving at rank 8 or 9, and then get most of the stuff, and then the Ashen Fields. At the same time, I'll probably start moving through the upgrades here. Alrighty, so wait, you leveled up as well there, Michaela. Evasion, please, as well as, yes, Piercing Bolts of Burning. Very helpful against the dwarfs in particular, although the armor piercing's a wee bit low, but they do like to bunch up, so that's their problem. The Flamestorm, unfortunately, amazing against the Skaven, and not so great against the dwarfs because of the lack of armor-piercing damage. What else do we have here? Cannot target enemy hex. Oh, basically minus 10 resistance to everything. I take it we can only pick one of these, not both. Oh, massive buff to our hero. Make Imrik hit harder, please. Yes, why not? Alrighty, ooh, and you're gonna get your own Sun Dragon as well, aren't you? I guess if we get two mages in here, put them both on dragons, lots and lots of fire. Imrik's gonna be super fire-based. Okay, so is there anything else left to do this turn? Oh, wow. You guys suddenly really dislike us, don't you? Go figure. Well, we're gonna attack you anyway, so you're gonna have to live with it. Now, you, Darkhold. I guess we could wait 6 turns, we could upgrade this right now. I feel like we upgrade this right now because we can make more money out of it. Now, you. What do we build here? What do we really need early on? Let's see. I would really like to get some Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. They would really help us out. I mean, we could get all the basic chariot stuff. The White Lion's chariots, the Sky Cutters. It's just that this is really expensive, and also I'm a little bit wary of the Fortress of Vorag getting attacked by something out of somewhere. Like Skaven jumping over, or dwarfs jumping over. If it doesn't have defenses, it's going to be a problem. So I fear that, contrary to what I'd like, we'd have to go for the stone walls first. I think that's what we'll do, and then we'll just delete this. Not right away, but in a few turns. We're still lacking public order, unfortunately. But we'll delete this soon, and then replace it with either another military building or a money-making building. Obviously, our main province will not... it'll have an Ithilmar Smith. Oh, in fact... It'll be a long time before you get to level 4. Ithilmar Smith, we'll need this very soon. I'll have to keep an eye on that. That's probably the building we're going to have to build here. But other than that, this province is going to have to make money. Simply because it has both of these buildings that already give it a decent amount of cash. We need to capitalize on that as much as possible. We'll make another province, like, say, this one, our military hub. Speaking of this province, I guess we're heading off to Crookback Mountain and Mount Silverspear right now. If that's a Skaven faction, we want to get rid of them as fast as possible. Those who watched my Malice Darkblade campaign know how much I dislike fighting the freaking Skaven, and I have PTSD with regards to having to deal with those rat bastards because they're so hard to exterminate. Which is appropriate. I don't think we can build any more units, unfortunately. I would love to get a couple more High Elven Rangers to just wreck everything, but I think for now, we're gonna have to hold. Because then we'll be losing too much money. Okay, is it worth it to pop the Invocation of Assyria and get that influence? I mean, probably the diplomatic relations for 5 turns is probably worth more than anything right now. Especially as it'll cause some other factions to not immediately declare war on us. Give us extra time, basically, to deal with what we're dealing with. But 3,000 is really steep. Like, crazily steep, considering how little money we have left. But no, pop it right now, I think. Let's do it. I don't want to be wasting the influence and the extra stuff. There we go. At least the public order will help all of these new provinces fix themselves, essentially. Yes, alright. With that, I believe we can end the turn. And let's hunt some Skaven. Not sure whether we'll be able to get them this episode. It'll take a while to reach them. We don't know what's in there either. Let's see. There we go. Empowered Armor of Caledor. Embed a mage or hero. Quest successful. That was the quest. It was already... Okay. Let's read this. The Armor of Caledor is not a single piece, but amalgamation of several armors worn by successive heroes of Caledor's long history. Yet it lacks a vital piece. When Caledor I, one of the greatest Phoenix Kings, was faced with insurmountable numbers of Dark Elf Corsairs at sea, he threw himself into the depths of the ocean to prevent himself from being captured by his baneful enemies. If even a single piece could be recovered, it could greatly empower the armor of Caledor. Rumors abound that a fragment of Caledor the Conqueror's fabled armor may have reappeared. Imrik must summon a mage to perform a ritual of scrying so that more can be learned of its location. Alrighty, in part 2... Wait. Part 2, thank you. Complete the following Greater Invocation of Vol. Damn it, what did we just do? Please don't tell me I just did that right now. I really wish I had known about that. Well, I guess we'll have to wait 5 turns at least before we do that. Let's see what it says, though. In an attempt to locate the rumored fragment of Caledor the Conqueror's armor, the mage carried out the scrying. During the ritual, however, a shockwave of fell energy suddenly manifested from the scrying pool, violently knocking him back. Gladly, his injuries were superficial, but it seems someone may already have found a fragment of Caledor's armor. Someone who wields dark powers. A more forceful ritual is needed to reach out to the fragment, a ritual of Vol. After all, it was Vol's anvil that Vol's anvil that the Conqueror's armor was first forged. Okay, yeah, so that's the 5,000 gold one. Wouldn't have been able to pop it right now anyway, because it's a little bit too expensive. But I was saying we want to get these early on, so fair enough. Alrighty. I guess we're going to have to save up and get that going. In the meantime, Imrik, buddy, you are going to start slowly moving towards Crookback Mountain. I'd like to... Oh man, Mount Silver Spear is probably a better attack. It really depends on what, if anything, is in there. And how leveled up it is. We do need Imrik to be full health by the time we get there. You know what we could do, though? Let's say, send Michaela out. Let's have her identify what's going on there. Because if it's crazily defended, we'll just go for Mount Silver Spear first. Although, we might have to try to kill the Skaven army first, or they'll just take Mount Greyhag from us. Yeah. And hopefully in the meantime, these guys don't declare war on us. Or Snitch kills them and then declares war on us. Something's gonna happen. Not sure what it is yet. Malice is still okay. I guess that's another end turn for us. Let's proceed. And I guess our first tech will be done. We have Rictus Clan Nest. Non-aggression pack. No. Adorable, but no. I take it that's these guys. Alright, reload time for archers. I will certainly take it. And we got a free influence. We got a Greater Invocation of Vol now unlocked, of course, but then we can't afford it. Technology. I guess we're already doing the cartridge, so we probably don't want to switch it to anything here. Yeah, we're good. Let's proceed. You, up to Crookback Mountain. You... I really hope that you don't get insta-killed by this Skaven Lord here. Ooh, if this is their only Lord and he's hurt, there might be nothing here, which would be ideal. In fact, let's move all the way to the edge here. I'm almost tempted to say just rush forward.
Make haste, Asur!
Because if there's nothing here, we could capitalize on it and take it. Even though it'll be pretty hard if they have walls, we might be able to siege them and destroy them quickly. The dwarfs are going to attack us soon. We'll have to build walls here, that's for certain. Alrighty, let's end this turn as well. We don't need to bother with any intrigues at court. Karak Azul is now fighting Clan Ishin. Okie dokie. Fair enough. And Rictus Clanus is fighting somebody else. What are you doing? You want a non-aggression pact. It's not going to happen. We're going to kill you. Would have been easier to attack them first, I think, rather than these guys. But I'm hoping to get rid of these Skaven before they, spread out all over the place. Well, let's see what we're looking at in Crookback Mountain. Okay, we have a Rictus Clan Nest. And we have very little in terms of defenses. They don't have Warp Bomb. They have one Lord. I would love to bring the Mage, though. Here's what we do. We are going to declare war. You are currently fighting with the Bloody Spears, but we can't ask them to join the war, so we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. You go right here. Declare war on this. War were declared. Okie dokie. We are going to siege this for one turn. because there are enemy towers and stuff, A, but B, I want you, Michaela, to help us fight this. So, we'll get the Flamestorm. That's exactly what I want on the Skaven. We'll pop you into this army as soon as you're able to move next turn. We will be doing that fight next episode because we are going to run out of time before we get to it, unfortunately. Plus, we've got our main province. I think that's pretty good in terms of milestones for the first episode. Now, I also want to see what we got over here. Anybody really good with influence? Administrator. Construction cost reduction. You know what, maybe I'll take a look at these between the episodes. There's a lot. Well, we are saving up. I don't see... Oh, you're efficient. You got Illyrian, Reavers, and Silver Helms, and some lots of upkeep. Good for a basic defensive army, though. Pigeon-chested. Let's see. What else we got here? Hawk-eyed. Range, missile strength, but you don't buff anybody up. Vigilant, fortuitous. I'm not into most of these, to be honest. Bones are not supposed to be on the outside. That poor prince. Alrighty, anyway, I guess we can end yet another turn. Let's see if anybody declares war on us before we call this episode here. If these guys sally out, though, then I'll fight it. Will they sally? They won't sally. They're too cowardly. I mean, they're Skaven. What do you expect? Alrighty, so with the end of that turn, as I said, I am going to call it here. Start of next episode, we will attack Crookback Mountain, hopefully successfully. Destroy these Skaven here. I mean, as long as we do it systematically and don't lose too many units to enemy towers, we should be just fine. Maybe get the Dragon Princes moving in by themselves in the side and break a gate with the Sun Dragon or something like that, while we keep the rest of the units back, especially since we can't destroy the towers. I guess we'll see, but I think we can manage this. In theory, we could also just wait another turn and build a couple more siege towers to make certain that this is ours, but I'd really prefer to do it this turn and then move to Mount Silverspear before they can build an army here as well. Shore up this province, and then immediately start booking it back to Noblar country. Shore up this entire area before we go to war with the dwarfs for good. But anyway, that'll be a problem for next time. As always, before I say the outro, don't forget to leave any tips with regards to Imrik that you guys might have if you are familiar with his particular campaign, or what you guys think about the direction I've, sort of decided to take right now with going like this. We could always change that and do something a little bit different if that's inefficient. I'm just going off of what looks to be like a good idea to me right now. I'm not entirely sure whether it is the best course of action. But anyway, all glory to the algorithm. We've had enough talking in the intro, and thanks for watching.
I'll win. I always do.